Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to WildEarth this afternoon. My name's Tara, and on camera this afternoon we have Andrew, and back in final control we have Pete. So I'm hoping we're going to see some wonderful creatures this afternoon. It's a little bit quiet this morning. It is extremely hot now, so I'm hoping we're going to see some animals around by the water holes, maybe bathing in the mud. So we're going to check out a few of those first, and then hopefully as it cools off we're going to make a turn by the hyena den. We did make a turn towards the end of drive this morning, but I think it was just that little bit too hot, and I think Pup was already inside making sure it was keeping nice and cool. Especially with it being so black, it's going to absorb the heat a lot more than obviously what lighter creatures will do. So let's head on up and see where we can find some animals. I think we're going to try Gary Dam first. Apparently there were some elephants down there just now. See if they are still around, and then we'll head down maybe towards Chelapan, and then on towards the Treehouse Dam and Twin Dams. And we did have some leopard spoor or leopard tracks over that side this morning, so we're going to maybe make our way there once it cools off a little bit again and see if we can't get lucky with a spotted cat. So lots to try and look for this afternoon, so let's get going. And if you're new to safaris, welcome on board, and I hope you're excited for your first safari. And if you would like to ask any questions while we're driving around the beautiful game reserve of Kunyuma this afternoon here in South Africa, in the wonderful world-famous Sabi Sands, then you need to send them in to questions@wildearth.tv, questions@wildearth.tv, and you can also send them through to the Twitter page, and that's #SafariLive. And if I do throw any questions your way, you can also answer them via those methods as well. So we'll see, maybe we'll have a question or two this afternoon. I did try and promise yesterday, and I was looking out for some, but I got sidetracked every time. So we'll see. So do we still have some ellies around? Really hope so. Been a little while since I've actually seen ellies nice up close and personal. We had a young bull the other day. I think you enjoyed that, didn't you? He got very close to us the other day. We have a couple of buffaloes. There's too much. We'll go onto the wall and just see if there isn't anything further down the way. We'll have a nice view of the buffalo, hopefully. Just have a quick look for you, and then we'll head down towards Chelapan. See if there's anybody wallowing around. Ooh. Aha! Okay. Right, we have our first who dung it. Actually, we've got two here. Let's see if we can catch you guys out, but I'm sure not. I've trained you guys well. But if there's anybody new, I don't know if we're a little bit close. We want to get to that little dung patch there if we can. Yeah, that one will do first. Go and grab a piece. Gives you an idea of the size as well. Gonna need the stepladder to get back in again. So, if we do have anyone new on board, I do have a little bit of a fascination with tracks and signs of animals when they leave them in the bush, and obviously dung is one of them. And who dung it also involves tracks as well, but I've been struggling to find some nice tracks for you to actually see. But we'll try. But hopefully we've got a nice view of them there. Actually, let me climb in while you're still looking at that. So that's going to be your first question, those small pellets. I've got some in my hand just to give you a size reference as well, so I'll be able to show you those just now. And then if we can just go across, there's another patch just to the right, and this is going to be question 2. So question 1 is the little dung pellets, and question 2 is going to be a little bit further to the right, if you can, this one here, that's slightly in the shade. Yeah, that's the one. Lost a lot of its shape. It is slightly older, but you might be able to guess it. Now, if you're new to this, try and think of what you might have seen back home. This one especially, it might remind you of something, a domestic animal. And think of what might be out here in Africa that might be the equivalent. So fairly flat, and I'll try and give you a size reference as well, so if you wouldn't mind bringing it back around. Okay, so this is question 1. It's very, very small. Nice small pellet. So that's a big giveaway, if I put it on there for you. The fact that it is so small, and if I can actually break open one, you can see inside it's tiny fragments. Pretty much grass at this stage. So whatever animal produces this, I'll leave that there so you can see a little bit for the time being. So whatever animal produces this, it gets as much goodness out of its food as possible. So you're looking at an animal that does re-chew its food, just to help those of you who might not have played this game before. And the second one, if we can maybe zoom out, it can give you a bit of a size reference. The second one, the size of it is about that big, so much, much bigger. And it will also contain fairly fine fragments like this within it as well, and mostly grass. So, while you guys are sending through your answers to #SafariLive or questions@wildearth.tv, you can put in the subject line actually what your answer is. That's probably going to be the easiest. Ooh. Aha! We have somebody else in the dam as well as the buffalo. So we'll go through and say hello to these guys while you guys have a think about what animals they are. So who dung it? Who dung it? Ooh. Wow, I don't know if you're going to be able to get this track on. Can you see it? Yeah, just there. This one here. Let's switch off. Let's see if I can move my ear out of the way. If you're able just to come back, I can maybe just point out to you. There we go. So the track itself, you can see it's a line here, but can you see right next to it, there's these little marks here, just there. So you'll be forgiven in thinking it's a snake by this. So this is actually the tail being dragged, but this is the giveaway on either side. And you can see where the tail's being dragged, it kind of curves around here and here. And this is actually a monitor lizard track, and he's heading that way. So we'll have to have a look on the side of the bank to see if it is sunbathing at the moment. So that's a water monitor lizard track. It looks like there was a couple here, so we'll keep a very sharp lookout. And if you find one that's much bigger than that, then you know you've got yourself a crocodile. They look very similar, just on a bigger scale. Hello, boys. Okay, I'm just going to go a bit further along so we might be able to see the hippo as well. Ooh! There's somebody raiding a nest here. Yeah, there is. Look, there's a goshawk on the nest. Oh, look at that! Wow! Oh, wow, he was getting mobbed by all the weavers. Sure, that was amazing. Did you happen to see it? Did you get it?
Bit of him, yeah, a bit of him.
Sure. Never seen that before. Oh, thank you. Sorry, who was that from? Jules McPhee, welcome on board to you this afternoon. Jules was saying that there was monkeys raiding the nest here as well. Those poor weavers weren't having a very good time of it, were they? Okay, wild dog and wildebeest came through for the second one, but there's unfortunately not quite right. Fairly close with the wildebeest. That actually translates as wild cow. But you're actually looking at the culprit to the second question. It was buffalo. It was buffalo. So buffalo was the whodunit question number 2. And it was probably one of these guys. So well done to everybody who got that right. Apparently most people got that right. Ooh, we've got some nice birds out today. There's a green-backed heron actually walking along. If you can see where there's the terrapins on the log just to our left, just above the log now, it's walking along the edge of...
Oh, yes, that's it.
Yeah, nice. Looks like a green-backed heron. You can see just in the bottom of the frame there's the terrapins there as well. And it looks like right in the back, behind one of the hippos, we've got the juvenile grey heron again. Yeah, just there, that's the one. Oh, some lovely birds out this afternoon. And I think our hippo is actually snoozing. I'll see if I can warn you when he comes up again. I'm just seeing the odd the one nostril. So it looks like he is snoozing. Okay, a few kudos coming back for the second one, but there we go, yeah. You might have just caught the hippo at the edge of your screen there. So a couple of kudos for the first question. Oh, something's just spooked the buffalo out of the water at the back there. I totally missed what might have happened there. Whatever it was, they didn't like it. wonder if the crocodile's returned. Well, it's had the effect that the other buffalo are actually leaving the water as well. Oh dear, that was brilliant. I'm just scanning the area just to see if we can see what caused those two buffalo to leave the water so rapidly. Let's say my guess is something came up behind them and nudged them. Let's say I've only ever seen that reaction once before, and that was a crocodile. But the right answer to the dung question number 1 was impala. So kudu, you're looking at probably about 3 times larger, or even 4 times larger than those pellets. And the other giveaway was that it was forming a midden, and male impala actually formed middens, and there was a number of different age dung in that pile that we saw for question 1. But well done to everybody who got those 2 questions right. It sounds like a lot of you haven't lost your touch. Well done. You see the hippo, he's actually having a look at us now. Hi Sharon, I wonder which Sharon this is, but welcome on board this afternoon, good to hear from you. Wanting to know if we have any snapping turtles here in South Africa, and to my knowledge we don't. And this is actually one of those animals that we have different names for in different countries. So I know in America, turtles are freshwater terrapins, and I think you also call the land-based, what we call tortoises, turtles as well. So you tend to use turtle for all those, what we call chelonians, the shelled reptiles. But over here in South Africa, we actually do separate them off depending on where they live. So tortoises live on the land, and in the water we have the terrapins in fresh water. So the terrapins we saw on the log are helmeted terrapins, or marsh terrapins, that's another name for them. Yeah, that buffalo's left, he's definitely not happy. But the other buffalo had just gone to the water's edge. Well, that hippo is keeping a very close watching us now. You can see, I think his eyes are actually shut. Oh, and it looks like just by the buffalo. Ah, it could be white-faced whistling duck chicks. Can't quite see, but the white-faced, I think they're just called white-faced ducks now. They kind of go. They're cool. Just look a little bit smaller than the Egyptian geese did. Oh, I stand corrected, it is the Egyptian geese, they're just very far away. Maybe it's another family. I don't remember seeing whistling geese, whistling ducks. But it is the Egyptian geese family. They just look a lot smaller in the water. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's 5 chicks there. I'll have to keep a watch on their numbers, because if they go down then we know there is a crocodile in there. So the last shelled reptile that we have is what we call the turtles, and they live in the seawater. Oh, who's that? Someone's just... Oh, is that a branch now? I think that's part of a branch. Oh, thanks, Ellen. Ellen's saying that she heard there was an update of a leopard with a kill down by Cheetah Plains, which is if you went along Gary, Maine, all the way to the end, you'd get to Cheetah Plains, and apparently the leopard there might be one of Karula's daughters, Tandy. So I'll see if we can confirm that's who it is with Ephraim when he's out on drive. I'll listen out for him. Wow, that was quite Okay, so Ellen's saying that I think she's seen pictures of it, and she's saying it's Karula. Thanks, Ellen. That's amazing. I've not known Karula to go as far as that. So I wonder if she's being pushed out by somebody. That'd be quite interesting. Because she tends to operate on Juma, and usually on the outskirts she tended to push further west rather than east. But I know she did go into going to the property on the eastern side into Torchwood to go and hunt. But that's amazing that she's got that far. Thanks, Ellen, for the update. Well, after that excitement with the goshawk, I've never seen a goshawk on the weaver's nest before. That's amazing. And the buffalo being chased off by something that was in the water. So maybe it was just a large turtle that just bumped him, or I don't know, maybe pulled a tick off that was embedded too much, because they do tend to eat the ticks off of the buffalo and the hippo, and even the fish will go and help clean the hippo, and they'll probably do the same with the buffalo as well. They'll go and take off any parasites from those animals as an extra form of protein. Cool. Alrighty. Well,
sorry, if you can just... This is Peter. The camera's saying temperature high and it's beeping. It says temperature high on the display. Peter, the camera's saying temperature high on the display and it's beeping in my ears. Alright, copy that.
Okay, so we're going to go and find some shade. The camera's not appreciating the heat. It is very hot today. There's actually a little bird flying over the top of the head of the hippo. Is the green-backed heron again. Very nice to see. So we're going to take Central and we'll drive along the Vulture's Nest, I think, because that's also very close to a drainage line. I'm just having a look in the drainage line to our right, just to see if there's anybody chilling out down there. And we'll make our way to Chelapan and Twin Dams treehouse area. See if we can't find ourselves a cat this afternoon. would not be surprised if we have another thunderstorm this afternoon or this evening. So I'm just going to see if I can call Ephraim for you, Ellen. Let's see if we can find out how the leopard's doing that. Ephraim, come in, Tara. In my ear. See if he comes this side, maybe we'll be able to communicate a little bit more. So unfortunately it's a little bit too far out of where we're able to go for signal, so we won't be able to catch up with the crew this day, but I'm hoping that she'll come this side and come and say hello to us. Because I'm sure a lot of you know I would love to catch up with Our Lady. It's been too long. Giraffes going that way. Don't see any sign on that side. I'll keep an eye out. Where's their shade when you need it? It looks like there's some beautiful big storm clouds building behind us. Vulture's Nest, we're going to be turning off very shortly to the right. Hopefully that might just give us a little bit, just help the camera out a little bit. His favourite animal was, but I never asked you. What's your favourite animal?
I would say elephant.
Elephants?
Yeah,
okay.
I love elephants.
Well, we'll see if I can try and find some elephants in the next few days as well. I must admit, it can be very, very relaxing watching a group of elephants.
Yeah, their presence is powerful.
Yeah, it is, hey? You definitely become very humble around them. Okay, so we're turning off Essential onto West, if anybody's trying to follow us on the map. haven't quite slept with it uphill. Close, very close, but I have been studying it.
Hello everyone. Being out in the bush and being out there live has its technical challenges. We're experiencing some of that now and are working on it as fast as possible to get it sorted and get you back in the vehicle with us.
Welcome back everybody. Sorry for the break up there.
Hello everyone. Being out in the bush and being out there live has its technical challenges. We're experiencing some of that now and are working on it as fast as possible to get it sorted and get you back in the vehicle with us.
Welcome back everybody. But we're going to be okay on Vulture's Nest. There's a little bit of break up there, but hopefully we should be good for a little while again. So we've just popped out by Chelapan. I think I'll just swing around and just have a quick look to see if anybody's here. And then we'll cut across to where Twin Dams is. Just having a look at any of the mud wallows along the way. So remember when it was this hot, we actually had cleaners sitting in the little individual mud pools. It's quite entertaining to watch, just to try and cool off in this heat. Today is certainly one of those days. Used to like this area as well. We used to see giraffes along here quite often. A nice waterhole for leopards to lie in and hiding, especially underneath these bushes here. There's a lot of good hiding places. Just want to have a quick quick look. Starlings have got a lot to say. It looks like maybe one or two of the foam nests have dropped off into the pool. You can see just one or two patches of the foam itself. Maybe someone's been trying to raid the nests. And one or two look a little bit dried out. Now for those of you who are not sure what I'm talking about, those white spots on top of the water. Now usually the frogs, the foam nest frog, will build the nest on a stick or a piece of grass above the water. And when the male and the female are mating, they'll kick the back legs and produce this foam or froth around the eggs that they produce. And that actually protects the tadpoles from basically drying out. So even though it looks quite dry on the outside, they should still be protected on the inside. But having said that, it is normal for them to be out in the open. There's actually one in the tree just to the left there as well. Oh, you got it. Yeah, that's the one. And so it is normal for them to be out and exposed like this, so the tadpoles should be okay. And as the tadpoles develop inside, they get heavier and heavier, and eventually they'll just drop out and plop straight into the water, ready to start life as a tadpole. And then obviously they'll go through the change and become an adult frog. You can hear the bush fax machine going again. The rattling cisticola or cisticula. Potato, potato. Wow, that's beautiful. Welcome to Africa, everybody. All we need to finish off this picture is a leopard to walk in now. A good afternoon, just in Yari at Gary Dam. There's nobody hiding up under there, is there? Underneath the gardenia. Not that I can see. Okay. Treehouse dam it is then. Lots of flies again this afternoon. Yes. That is building quickly. And the wind is picking up. I can hear you. Where are you? To actually show you this little bird, the rattling cisticola. It's actually got a black mouth. Maybe he just flew off. He was around here somewhere. I just heard him. It's been a long time since I've heard that bird. We don't tend to get them around on the reserve that I'm working on now. But he's one of those little brown jobs. and one of the only ways, unless you're a really expert birder, the only real way you can tell the difference. If it was looking at me with its mouth shut, I probably wouldn't be able to tell you if it was rapping Sisticola. As soon as it opens its mouth, and I know the call, and that's how we try and identify a lot of the little brown birds. The lazy Cisticula or Sisticola. Oh, thank you very much. Did you get that? A lot of people enjoying Andrew's camera work for the clouds. It was beautiful. Hope somebody got a screenshot of that. Yeah, we have the lazy Cisticula or Sisticola, and it has a lot to say for itself. It's only a small bird, it's only about this sort of size. And my word, it can chatter right at the top of its voice. And there goes a hornbill. Be a little bit far away. We'll see if we can try and find a closer one for you. Check down the road just in case somebody's walking down there. It always pays just to do that. Because the day you don't, there'll be somebody walking down there and you'll miss them. So if you're just joining us, we're going to be checking out the water holes just because of having such immense heat. Animals are very similar to humans, and remember they've got a body full of fur as well, so if they're feeling uncomfortable, if you're a human, what do? You try and cool off. And what do? If you've got a swimming pool, you go and sit in it. So that's why we're going to go to the water holes. If you're me, you put your face in the fridge, which I enjoyed very much so after getting back from drive this morning. Or you sit where the wind is blowing, find a nice shady spot. So that's basically what we're trying to do. We're trying to put ourselves into those areas where the animals might be doing this. As it starts cooling off, they'll start coming out of the woodworks and out of the dams and pans. Hello! I know, we're following you! Check, seems as they're heading in that direction. Let's just check down at the hyena den. I'd say I'm not holding out much hope at the moment. They're going to be passed out somewhere. Just to give the vehicle time just to carry on down the road. warthogs.
Just a bit ahead of us.
Nice. Ah, there we go, yeah. Yeah, come and say hello. He started running off and then turned around. It's not the greatest view in the world, but unfortunately he's just stood behind a little bit too much vegetation. You can just about make out the ears. Just in the top right of your screen. And if you listen carefully, the black cuckoo's calling. I'm so sad. Oh, need to wet my whistle. Ah, there they go. It's so dry, my mouth is so dry. Struggling to whistle. And actually, just a bit of information from RC that got sent in. Some of you might remember I was telling you about the secondary call that we hear quite a lot where I work 3 hours away from here. We don't tend to hear the I'm so sad as much as what I knew as the secondary call. And it sounds like a pipe that you swing around your head. It kind of goes wooda 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 wooda. And apparently that's supposed to be the female call. RC looked it up. But I've always just known it as a secondary call. So thanks for that, RC, if you're watching. Taught me something. Oh, there we go. I'm just having a look around, because even though we had the adults sleeping close to the den yesterday, they don't always sleep that close. Those warthogs go. They went this way, didn't they? They weren't sticking around, that's for sure. And I don't blame them. It could become an easy meal. Oh, that's interesting. Elephant was here. Wonder if elephant had a sniff around here too. Just down there. You can see all the cracks, all these cracks here. So there's still quite a bit of detail. It was sometime today, earlier on today. But not very fresh, it wasn't in the last few hours. So I wonder if they're still here. Because if other animals came through and disturbed them, she might have moved them. But we shall have to see. Okay. I was hoping we would see the warthogs again. the other vehicle that just visited Treehouse Dam said there wasn't much there. So I think let's just change our plan and we'll go quarantine and go down the western side and maybe Zoe's. I was hoping maybe we could check out the other hyena den on Cheetah Cut Line, but I think with this heat it seems to be affecting the signal a little bit, so I think we'll just stay a little bit closer to home today and maybe try the other hyena den, because apparently it is active, so it'd be nice to see who's down there. Maybe it's one of the hyenas that Hayden or Peter found. And just so you know, I did ask Ephraim what the Shangaran word was for. Kudu, not kudu. That's shabalala. But for hiding, because a few people were saying that we should call the baby hyena Heidi, and apparently it's Umtumbela. What you guys think of that? I thought it had quite a nice ring to it, and Bella for short. Oh, sorry, little one. I was watching your mum cross the road and didn't see you. Tumbela, to hide. Hello, lady. Can you see her through there? Hello, beautiful girl. Just move forward a little bit. There you go. No, don't move. Can't lie, they are one of my favourite antelopes. They are beautiful. And they just have such a lovely face to them. Those big beautiful brown eyes. What are you looking at, lady? That'd be nice if you give an alarm call. Now, some of you might have heard me talk about alarm calls a lot. I'm not sure what I'm talking about, but it is universal. All the animals understand when each one actually gives their alarm call. Everyone knows it's because there's a predator around. So the spiral-horned antelope, like the kudu, and they're relatives of the nyala and the bushbuck and eland as well, which we won't really see here. They tend to inhabit slightly drier areas. But especially the smaller spiral-horned, they will tend to bark. The baboons also give a bark, but it's slightly different. Now, I've always said, and I'm trying to tell people the difference between them, a baboon actually sounds like, there's actually another kudu here on the right. The baboon actually sounds like a human trying to force a bark out. Oh. And it's got two parts to it, two syllables to it. Now, I'm not going to do it just yet, but I will do it when we're away from the kudu. Oh, she's camera shy. You might just be able to see her ears poking out from the top of the termite land there. But it's kind of like a wahoo. But I'll do it properly when we're not close to the kudu. But the kudu and the other spiral-horned antelope, when they bark, it sounds like a dog barking. If you think about when your dog barks, if you have a dog at home, it comes right from within their belly, and it's the same with the antelope. And they really give quite a hearty bark, and it's one syllable. And that's what we listen out for with these guys. With the impala and the wildebeest, they tend to snort through the nose, and the zebra as well. So it tends to be more of a... But the kudu will understand that. Did she? Yeah, she's checking, look. What have you seen? And even the birds will pick up on that as well, and they may even come and join in, and I can hear the go-away birds calling. Yeah, those clouds are actually starting to give us quite nice temperature now. Can't lie, it's actually becoming a little bit more bearable now. I'm sure the animals are going to feel the same. Okay, well, let's try the quarantine area on the western side. We'll see where we go from there. She's got other plans. Camera shy kudu this afternoon. So yeah, I still want to head down towards Treehouse Down, but we'll give it half an hour or so. See if anything pops up there. So there was another vehicle that went through there and we didn't see too much just a few minutes ago. Okay, so now we're away from the kudu, so we won't startle them. So to give you an idea, the difference between a kudu, it's kind of like a very short, sharp, something's there. And if they carry on giving that alarm call, it means that there is something literally just there and they're very worried about it. But if they give a bark and then there's a bit of a gap, then it means there's something there, they can see it, but it's not posing a direct threat at that stage. But then other animals in the vicinity might just hear that call, look to see where the kudu's looking and look to see what the problem is, and then they'll join in that chorus and they'll actually pick up the movement and everyone will actually keep a look on what's going on to try and keep the predator in their sight, so the predator lost or loses its element of surprise, which is how a lot of predators operate. They need to have that element of surprise and get as close as possible. Oh, we have the crested francolin in the road. This was the family that we saw yesterday as well. Oh, keep up, little one. The parents there to protect them as well. So with the baboons, it's more of a wahoo. Oh, one got left behind. You can see the francolin to the left of your screen giving itself a dust bath. And they'll quite often do this just to try and get the dust in amongst the feathers, and it dislodges any parasites. And some birds will even allow ants to walk all over them. And it's thought that the formic acid that the ants, some species of ant have, gets all over the feathers, and that also helps to get rid of some parasites. And some birds may even go as far as picking up the ant and wiping it all over itself. Just not content with actually letting the ants walk all over them, I'll just pick it up and brush it all over. Not dead. One more. Not done. Oh, you're beautiful. You might be able to see how well they camouflage against the bush. Are you able to go to the adult just to the right? You can see the colours are just that little bit bolder, sitting on the little branch there, just try and get a slight advantage of height there. It sounds like there's another family to the left. That's what that little outburst was about. They're just making sure they know that this is their territory. And you can see where they get the name from, that crest, that beautiful crest on top of the head. That looks to be the male. He's got the darkest crest. It tends to be black, but I think it's been bleached a little bit. They are actually quite pretty birds. Cool, should we carry on? Bye Franklin, stay safe. Beginning to get quite attached to that little family. Just checking these trees, just in case we have a little cat sitting in them. Western side of Quarantine. It's just on the edge of that drainage line there, and then we'll come down Zoe's and Rebecca's, maybe turn down by Twin Dams, see if this thing will settling a little bit, because it is getting cooler. Maybe see if we can't make our way over to the other side. Haven't been to the Cheetah Cut line yet, and so there's that other hyena den as well. So these are red buffalo weavers. We haven't really seen them too nicely over the last few days, so it's nice to get a quick view of them. That beautiful striking red bill against the black of the plumage. And they, the ones that build the very large woven nests that you might see from the Gowrie camera. But if I do see one, we'll stop and show you. You haven't been able to get onto the camera. And a few people asking if we able to drive on Arethusa still, and are we going to be able to go there? And I believe they're hoping to, but at the moment I think Graham's back in the country next week, and they're hoping to chat with Arethusa about the possibility again. So as soon as they find out any more about that, then they'll obviously let you know. So for now it's just going to be around Kunyuma, and as I say, I'll have to see from next week onwards what's going to happen about Arethusa again. And sounds like you will enjoy driving around Arethusa. Oh, we were going to go that side, weren't we? Let's just head down this side. Checking all the places we've had leopard before. This is quite a nice crossroads, just reading the bush newspaper again. Let's see if we can get any more updates on any animals wandering through here. Some very old hyena tracks again. So this is roughly the area we had leopard tracks heading that way. So I was going to check out Treehouse Dam. So we will do that, hopefully in the next half an hour. Maybe give the cat time to come out and play. One of the times I remember visiting Arethusa, we had the mapocos calling on the airstrip. Couldn't see them, it was totally dark. But that was the only time I had any interaction with the mapocos. They were the dominant male lion coalition in the area. And they wreaked havoc. They really did. And they got their comeuppance in the form of the Majingilans, who moved in just as I started with WildEarth. So that would be, what, 5 years ago. And Mark and I were reminiscing about them, the first drive that we saw them. And they strolled in as if they owned the place, and yeah, they pretty much took over. Chased the mapocos all the way to the west. And I think they had a few clashes. Oh, little bee eater. Oh, nice. It's just flown over to the other side. There he is. That beautiful yellow underneath the throat, and that shocking green on the back. Beautiful. A little bee eater. Now, bee eaters generally have fairly long bills, and the reason for this is that in the name, they do eat bees. And obviously, if you eat bees, there is the potential to get stung. So when they have this long bill, it actually avoids, when they catch the bee, it avoids their face. And if it catches something, you'll see it will actually hit it on the branch, and the sting will eventually fall out, but it's also a way that they kill the bee or any other insect that they catch, and then they can eat it without being stung. And you'll also see the behaviour it's doing now. It's coming back to the same branch every time. It's called hawking. There you go, it actually just hit something. So it did catch something. So when it flies, it'll catch something and come back to the same branch usually. So with bee eaters, they're actually very helpful when it comes to taking photographs. So you just keep it on the branch and you know it's going to come back to that same branch again most of the time. Oh, there's a few more right at the back to the left. I don't know if you just saw them. Yeah, to that bush, if you go further left. Keep going left. Yeah, on the end of that branch there. Oh, no, up. Yeah, you've got it just in the centre now. Yeah, that branch there. I think we might just be a little bit too far away. I think the rest of the group are there. Very cool. But they're just doing the same behaviour as well. They're going back to that same branch. Oh, beautiful. A little bee eater. It's been a while since I've seen them. Cool. I have to remember they're here. Maybe we'll get to see them a little bit closer next time. Or is that someone sticking their head up out the grass? Oh, even better, it's a stick. Yay! Go me! That's the second one of the day. Oh, hello, little blue waxbill. Oh, nice. He's pretty close. Did you see where he landed? Yeah. Yeah, he's still there. There he is. Nice! Little blue waxbill. You see the birds are sitting with their beaks open, just trying to cool off a little bit. And it's him making that beautiful little tinkering call. And these birds are pretty clever. They've been known to build their nest right next to wasp nests so that the wasps will actually protect them and protect their nest from any potential enemies. Clever little birds. Very cool. Alongside the drainage line, and as it's cooling off, I'm hoping maybe we'll be lucky with somebody coming out of here. I haven't seen where the impala herd are, so that will actually give us an indication of whether someone might jump out or walk out of here. It's likely they'll have been spending the day resting up in the drainage line when it's cool enough. is, it's not Sandy Patch, or is it Sandy Patch? Impala Road, that's which one it is. Impala Road. Maybe we could try there, because that's where we did lose the leopard tracks this morning. Was actually on Rebecca's road heading north. It looked like they may have veered off to the left. Especially with this cloud cover, we may be lucky with the signal. Worth a try, and then we can make our way back to Treehouse Down. Yeah. It's looking a bit ominous now, isn't it? But I think we're still alright. I don't think it's going to open up just yet. Franklin in the road. And if you're just tuning in, welcome on board this afternoon to our live safari here in South Africa, brought to you by WildEarth. Welcome on board. And if you're joining us from this morning, we are seeing if we can go back to the area where we had the leopard tracks, especially with the cloud cover. It might just help us with the signal that side. So we'll make our way there, and then we'll head down towards the dam and just see if there's any more movement around there. Someone did check it out just a little while ago. But obviously this is the African bush. It changes. Anything can happen. Because there could even be a herd a pack of wild dog run across the road out of the bush. There's always the possibility. Could be that there's a lion sleeping on the road up ahead. And that is one thing I love about the African bush, and the fact that you guys can come along with us and experience this. I think it's just fantastic. Some of you might be having your morning coffee. Some of you might be having your evening meal. Some of you may have been on drive with me this morning, and I was saying about the termite mounds having new building work on the termite mound, and you can actually see the difference. And this is one of the termite mounds. I've just noticed that has fresh building on it. Looks like they're increasing the structure there a little bit, but you can see all that fresh sand there, and they actually mix it together with their saliva, so it becomes very hard, like cement. And that's one of the differences between ants and termites. Ants don't build nests like this. A lot of people say it's an ant hill, but it's actually not. It's the termites that build these massive structures. Ants, they will still have nests underground, but they'll barely have more than a couple of centimetres above the ground, if that. And they don't actually mix the sand with the saliva, so they'll bring the sand out and dump it on the side, and the wind just blows it away, and that's why it doesn't create these mounds. So the termites mix it with saliva, let it set, and they have this structure. So that mound is active by the looks of it, and that's how you can tell if it is active or not, with the fresh building material on it. Cool. I'm glad I managed to find that for you. Better late than never. So we're heading down Voyatella Access now, and we're going to turn off to Impala Road. And the know some elephant tracks along here, so we've got to keep a nice sharp lookout for any elephants. Nice to catch up with them, especially now that I know Andrew, it's his favourite animal.
Heading this way still. And then they came back out again. Oh, that's ripe. How would you describe the smell? It's a difficult one, hey? It is, yeah, you're right. It's got like that bittersweet smell to it. I think that's the fermenting marula fruits. It's not offensive, but it certainly gets into your nostrils. Quite pungent. I'm walking down the middle of the road again. On the open area, and I do wonder if that had anything to do with the storm last night. Maybe everyone went for cover. Good afternoon to you, Josie. Good to hear you. You're on board this afternoon. And you'd like to know about termites and if they only eat wood. And termites will eat vegetation, so not necessarily wood, so different species will go for different things. The fungus growers, which is one of the species that we have, we actually have two species of that, the common and the large fungus growers. And they'll take vegetation in to actually feed the fungus that they grow in their gardens. And they'll actually eat the liquid the fungus produces, because the termites aren't able to break down the cellulose inside. So they will use the fungus to help them with that. And the fungus will break it down so they have access, or they can actually utilise that liquid. They're able to eat that liquid. So the cellulose has already been broken down by the fungus. And then you do get some that will eat the wood and can be quite destructive to houses, especially. Ooh, a crested coron just sitting under the bush here. Yeah, I spied you. He's trying to hide now. There you go. You should be able to see it just under there. It's like, oh, you got me. Now, what's interesting about this little bird, and it's also known as the kamikaze bird, is to try and attract the females, they'll start calling, so they'll do a click, number of clicks, and then they'll start introducing their call, and it will go gig, 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 gig. Not the world's greatest impression of it, but it's that kind of vibe. It'd be nice if he actually does it to demonstrate. Then they'll take a running start, and they'll run up and start taking off. And they'll fly up quite a few meters above the tree line, and literally just close the wings and fall. And apparently the females find that quite attractive. What males do to try and impress females, eh? It's the same the world over. But you can actually tell if it's a juvenile or a sub-adult who's not really gone through the process much before, and it's his first few times. He doesn't know that actually if he opens his wings at the last second, he can land quite gracefully. So if you see them just plummeting to the earth and not doing this, you know it's the first few times out. But I'm sure that it doesn't take them too long to realise if they open the wings, they will land gracefully. Well, apparently I couldn't entice him to display. I've been lucky enough to see it twice. Twice in 9 years. And they can get much bigger than that. I got completely bowled over. I think we're up in the northern part of the Greater Kruger. We came around the corner and there was the red-crested koran standing all proud on top of a termite mound, belting his song out, and he was huge. And I actually misidentified it as a black-bellied bustard, which is slightly larger. But my friend said, no, it's a red-crested koran. I'm like, no man, that looks like a black-bellied bustard. And then he started calling. I was like, oh yes, okay, red-crested koran it is then. So it looked pretty dark on the front as well. But it just goes to show you should actually take a closer look. But I was going off of size on that one, and it was huge. I was absolutely blown away at how big it was. We've been going to the gym. Have turned onto Impala Road. We'll just have a look around here, see if that cat did move up this way, and then we'll take a route through Impala Plains. And actually I do remember seeing Karula with the cubs walking up here. It would have been Shavinzi and Shavambalana when they were very small, walking up here all those years ago, scampering around. Amazing, brings back memories. And for those of you who may just be joining for the first time, Karula is our female leopard who utilises this whole property that we're able to traverse on. She's quite a character, and she's really given us quite a huge insight into leopard behaviour, and we've been so privileged to follow her from when she was very young, about 2 years old, when she had her first litter, which was actually quite young, and that may have stunted her growth. She's quite a small leopard. Oh, we have some impala. And what's the impala looking at? So she's had four litters where she's raised the cubs successfully to adulthood. One of those 8 cubs, we're not sure what happened to her. That was little Shavinzi. She disappeared fairly soon after it was likely she dispersed. I think she was just over a year old, but she was very bold, and I think she possibly went off by herself, and we're not sure what happened to her, whether she went to an area where we don't really have contact. Maybe she went into the Kruger, or maybe something happened and she didn't make it. But still, I mean, 8 cubs through to adulthood is not really heard of with leopards. They don't tend to be as successful as that. And I understand her last litter, the 5th litter that she had, unfortunately, she didn't have as much luck with that litter. I'm not sure if she still has 1 cub left, but certainly 1 cub was sadly taken by hyena. And I think a lot of people hate hyenas because of it, unfortunately. But sadly, it is part of nature. It does happen. And hyenas have the same problem with leopards. If the leopard found the new little hyena cub or pup, there's no guarantee she wouldn't do something about removing it. And this is something we always have to remember, that, you know, these things do happen. But I still have an absolute amazement at Karula, the fact that she is such a small cat, and she is a powerhouse of note, make no mistake of that. But she is like a machine when it comes to rearing her young. She'll hunt, she'll maybe eat a little bit from her kill, she'll take the cubs there, and she'll literally leave to go hunting again. It is absolutely amazing. She just makes sure that there is food constantly, and I think that actually has, or is part of the reason for her success on rearing those cubs through to adulthood. It really is amazing what she can do. They're not really giving us any information. Hi, Ellie from Michigan. Welcome on board this afternoon. And I hope I heard your name right. I think it was Ellie, or was it Andy? Sorry, was it Ellie or Andy? Sorry, I think I put you off again. Andy. Mary. Yeah. Sorry, Mary, I'll get there eventually. I'll just pluck any name out of thin air. Oh dear. I think it's this temperature, it's sending me doolally again. But welcome on board, Mary. Sorry, I'll get there eventually. Good to hear from you. And Mary was saying that they saw an elephant take the top off a termite mound last week, and would the termites repair it? And yes, they would. They would repair it. And even if you were to, it's not very ethical, but if you were to break open the termite mound, they'll come along and repair it. If the nardbot comes along and breaks part of the termite mound, they will try and repair it as best they can. Same with a pangolin as well, and an aardwolf. That's something I'd love to see as well again. Aardwolf, it's been a long time since I've seen them. They're not a mammal that many people know about. It looks like a small hyena. And it's silver in colour, or white in colour, with black stripes. And it's got a big bushy tail. but it's fairly small. It's kind of jackal-sized, and they eat termites. And they're one of the few carnivores that lack what makes a carnivore, and that's or one of the reasons that makes them a carnivore, and that's the carnassial shearing teeth. So the predators actually have teeth, and I forget which way around it is now. It's either the last premolar and the first molar on the upper or lower jaw. It's one of those way rounds, but last premolar and the first molar, and they'll come together, and they actually come together so tightly that they shear against each other. That's where they get the name from. So they shear against each other, work against each other constantly like this, and it keeps that edge on the tooth sharp. And that's what you'll see when an animal feeds, when a carnivore feeds, especially a cat or a dog. They'll use the cheek teeth, that's obviously where your molars are, to actually chew or tear off the meat and bite on it and try and get it loose from the rest of the carcass. I think there was a little pan down here. Let's just go and check that quickly. Let's just try down here. So the aardwolf, because their diet is made of termites, you don't really hear them eating anything else. Their teeth have evolved into pegs. They tend to have similar tooth structure, which is interesting. It's still kept within the carnivore family or order. Aardwolf. So if you're playing Scrabble, that's another name for you. Yeah, there's a little pan here. I remember now, there was a little mud wallow. I'm just going to turn around, you might be able to see it a little bit better. But it's all dried. So no one's using it today, unfortunately. Turn around here. There we go. A little bit bumpy. Unfortunately that one's a little bit dry, so no one's going to be using that. But worth checking. We might have been lucky. So we shall carry on our quest. Keeping our ears open, our nostrils flared, and our eyes peeled. Termite mounds can be a source of nutrients as well. Just suddenly thought, I remember watching a baby rhino sucking the top of a termite mound like a lollipop, getting some nutrients out from the soil. And kudu as well, quite often lick the soil from a termite mound. And that's where animals will supplement the diet with minerals found in the soil. That's known as geophagy. Phagy just means to eat, and geo means soil. Oh, I just saw some lightning. But that was over there, so it's fine. hear from you. Glad to hear you're on board this afternoon. And Marjo was wanting to know about brown hyenas. Do they use dens like the spotted hyenas do? And, oh, Ellie! Ellie! Ellie on a mission. Where are you off to, Ellie? Okay, we've got an opening here. Oh, little one. Wow, she really is on a mission. I wonder if she's heard someone. Elephants are capable of hearing over very long distances. And they're able to recognise each other about a kilometre, maybe up to 2 kilometres away. Okay, can you see it through there?
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep back a little bit and just see what the story is. I'd say she might be on a mission. If I get in the way, she might not be too happy. But she seems to slow down now, but we'll see how they are. Because that's one thing, you know, they might be having a bad day, and it's always worth just checking out, seeing where they are head-wise. But it looks like she's, maybe she was just trying to catch up with this little one. She's, yeah, she might actually be having a dust bath. Let's see if we can just reverse a bit and go into that open area there. But yeah, there's not really much known about brown hyena Marjo, and I think if the opportunity is there to use a burrow, then they'll take it, and I think for their pups I'm sure they would. But otherwise they could sleep out in the bush as well, and spotted hyenas can do that as well. They don't have to use a den to sleep in, but they will use that for the pups. Because there was a little baby here as well. Hello, little one. Oh, I wonder if she wasn't just running to the marula tree. Just suddenly realised they're all eating the fruits underneath the marula tree. Maybe that's what it was. You gonna come and say hello? Oh, there's another elephant coming in just behind the tree. It looks like they're slowly making their way this way. We might see a greeting between this one that's just arrived. Elephants will, to greet each other, quite often will put their trunk in each other's mouth, and I'm wondering if that's what was just happening there. It's almost like the elephant handshake. Now you can see they're flapping their ears. Now that's not aggressive. Elephants will use their ears as a way to tell you if they don't like you being there. But when it's hot like this, remember they are large animals, so they don't have a very big surface area to actually give off heat. So their ears are very large to help increase that area. And they flap them so that the wind actually passes over those blood vessels, and they've got a lot of blood vessels in their ears. And the blood will be pumped around those ears. And I think if memory serves me correctly, it's something like 1 litre, 6 litres every minute. But maybe someone can check up on that. It's been a while since I've used that. But it'll be something along those lines, and they can pump a lot of blood around those ears. And as I say, as they flap the ears, it just cools it off, and it obviously goes back through the rest of the body, slightly cooler than what it was. But they're very peaceful. They're not showing any sign that they don't like us being here at all. Station Small Schlambier and Blov east of Impala Plains. Go ahead. Schlambier and Blov east Impala Plain. East Impala Plain. Gonna just move on a little bit and just try and catch up with them again. Try and get, she's just around this corner here, so if I can just get to the other side of this bush, we might get to see her quite nicely. Hello, lady. No, not lady, it's actually a bull. So it must have been that was the bull that came up to join, and she was actually staying at the tree and must have just missed that crossover then. Hello, beautiful. And there's the young bull just behind us. And I'm hearing a bit more of tree breaking this side. Maybe there's a slightly bigger herd than what I thought. Oh, he's just crossing behind us. Hello, cutie. He's going to come out to this open area here. So this little one is probably about 10 or 12 years old. So starting to stretch his legs a little bit from mum, but still going to be with the herd for a little bit longer. But I think with the presence of the bull here, I think he's following him and picking up on what he's doing. And the boys will stay maybe for about, up until they're about 16, 17, 18. And as I say, they'll, over that period of time, they'll start drifting further and further back from the herd, doing their own thing. They start to get a little bit boisterous as well, and the females, if they get too boisterous, will tell them off a little bit. And then it gets to the point where they leave and they might go and find some bulls to hang around with, and they learn what it is to be a man. So they've learnt the life skills from the mother, where to find the food, where to find the minerals, where to find the water. and then it's time to learn what it is to be a male elephant. Hi, Karen from Arizona and Hal from... Oh, I forgot where you were from. Sorry, Hal. Yes, hello. You're going to put us in our place, aren't you? So, a question from Anne. Where's the place where the ear... where they actually hear? And unfortunately, he's just disappeared. I was hoping maybe I could show you. But it's right at the base of where the ear joins... Oh, sorry, that was a little bit quick, wasn't it? Sorry about that. But the elephants actually hear the opening is pretty much where ours is situated. So it's right next to the head, where the ear is connected. And I'm just going to go down this little 2-track and just see if we can't catch up with mum and baby. Cross this way. Good afternoon, go ahead. Copy.
An elephant car down there.
Ah, maybe they've already gone. Okay, well, we'll try on the next road then. Oh no, yeah, they're here. There's some here. So I think we've actually got a slightly larger herd than what I thought. But she's walking this way, so I'm just going to see if I can get into an open area. Let's see if we can just have a nice view of her as she approaches. I'm actually sitting underneath a marula tree, so this is probably not a good idea. I'll sit here for now and just see if she'll come up this way. I'm going to go that way. Hello, yeah. That's another young bull. Maybe it was her. Yeah, you were wanting these marula fruits, weren't you, buddy? There we go. So actually, if I can maybe point out, so just there is the opening of the ear, and actually if we can maybe zoom in a little bit, you might be able to see that opening if he turns his head again. Hello, little boy. You see him using his trunk as well, sniffing. There we go. Yeah, just there if we're able to... Oh, I'm behind the tree again. I'm not going to help you. You sat underneath my marula tree. Or maybe if he comes out from behind the tree, you might see it. Hello. There he goes. Okay, well, we'll try and see if we can catch up with them again on Zoe's road. But hopefully you saw that opening. And Hal was wanting to know if the ears are so important, why do the Indian elephant have such small ears? And I think it's possibly because they are a much smaller elephant. So the ears might be in relation to their body. And an educated guess. But it's a good question. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that's probably the answer. And possibly because they don't spend as much time in open areas like these guys do. So elephants can be found on the open plains. The Indian elephant is going to be in the forests. Quite often that's where they'll be found, which is another reason why they'll be much smaller as well in size. And that's one way you can actually tell the difference between an Indian and an African elephant. And my mum's probably going to kill me if she's watching this, but I was absolutely amazed because she didn't realise how to tell the difference. And I thought, wow, I knew from like when I was young. I always thought she told me because she absolutely loves elephants. So for those of you who are not sure how to tell the difference between an Indian and African elephant, one of the easiest ways is looking at their ear. And if you think about Africa, the continent Africa, it is big, and they actually have a big triangle in the shape of Africa. And the Indian elephant, if you think about India, how big India is compared to Africa, they've got quite a small triangle. Triangle, there you go. So they have a smaller ear, and that was how I always remembered it, and I always thought that was my mum telling me it, but apparently not. But as I say, they are quite a lot larger, especially the bulls. Could also be, because India obviously has quite a lot of rain at certain times of the year, so that could also have a lot to do with it, with there being a lot more moisture around. But maybe someone can Google it for us. Interesting to see what it says. All those tracks went down there. It's supposed to be. Thanks, Pete. I'm not sure who sent that in, but there was a little tidbit, unless it actually came from Pete. It's saying there was the old Tarzan movie. Apparently they used Indian elephants and put cardboard ears on them to make them look like African elephants, which is quite amazing. Another difference between Indian and African elephant is the pigmentation. Indian elephants have quite a lot of pale skin, pink skin. Whereas you can see the African elephant here, it's all grey, and they don't have any of that pigmentation. Oh, it's a little boy strutting his stuff again. You can see that wart that bouncing the head. And of course you're going to hide behind the bush just because you can, hey? I wonder where the mother disappeared to. She might have gone down Rebecca's. Come and say hello, little one. Hello. You're beautiful. Yeah, you can have them. We don't want them. They're yours. You see the toenails. Another difference, if you just saw the trunk there, they've got 2 fingers on the end of the trunk rather than the one, like the Asian elephant does. Another slight difference between the two. And they actually have the best sense of smell, probably in the animal kingdom, as far as I know. But certainly much better than dogs, and obviously much better than humans. There you go, you can see that opening to the ear really nicely there. You might just have seen some of the hairs covering the ear opening, just to protect it. There you go. And you can actually see some of those veins in the tips of the ears. And they also have those beautiful long eyelashes just to protect them, their eyesight from the sun as well. But also it'll stop the insects bothering the eyes too much. And even the wrinkles in the skin, the folds in the skin, just help to increase that surface area. So even that actually helps to keep them slightly cool as well. Because elephants are active through the day and through the night. They don't tend to sleep very often. Or maybe sleep, I think it's up to about 6 hours. And it'll be in short stints. And they'll sleep standing up, and they'll rest the trunk, sometimes on the tusk or on the floor. If they're going into a deep sleep, they might just lie down underneath a tree and have quite a nice deep sleep. There you go. See, we're not too scary, are we? There you go, you can see those beautiful eyelashes now. You can see even the bristles underneath his chin. Oh, beautiful. Hopefully you heard that. And I think that was the call to say they're moving on. Beautiful. Sorry, who was that from? Hannah. Anna. Thanks, Hannah. Just coming back about checking on the stats for the elephant ears. So 12 litres of blood per minute for both ears. So yeah, so I think it's about 6 litres per ear, isn't it? So thanks for that, Hannah. Just checking up on that. And apparently that's it also, yeah, I'd forgot about that. They can reduce that, just pumping the blood through the ears and actually flapping the ears can reduce the temperature by 3 degrees, which is actually quite substantial. So thanks for reminding me about that one. Appreciate it. Carry on down, or do we go left along Rebecca's? Do you want to try and see the elephants a little bit more, or should we carry on to Treehouse Dam?
I think we should see the elephants.
Elephants a bit more. Okay, let's see if we can catch up with them. And then it's actually got a little bit cooler, so maybe we'll just take a swing by the hyena den and just see if there's anything happening there. Just see if you can see the ellies a little bit again. Further into the bush here. Hi, Vicky from Illinois. Good afternoon to you. Welcome on board this afternoon. I hope you're enjoying our live safari here in South Africa. We've just had some elephants. I'm just going to see if we can catch up with them again, but I think they have moved off further into the bush here. But Vicky was wanting to know what was it the red streak was? I didn't notice a red streak on the head of the elephant, but there was a little bit of moisture down the side of his face. I don't know if that's what you were talking about, possibly. And that happens when either a bull is in must, but this little boy was just a little bit too young to be in must. And it can also happen when the animal is stressed. And I'm wondering if it could also be to do with heat stress. It's one of the things I still want to try and look up. But sometimes you see the females, if they're a little bit stressed, you'll see the weeping on the side. And I think the females it can also mean that they're in estrus as well. But certainly the first two, and that's when you see a big bull elephant and you see that, and especially if you can smell him because he urinates all over himself, so apparently that's quite attractive to the females, and it stinks. And you know he's in full must, and you should give him a wide berth because he's got a lot of testosterone running around his body. Wow, feel this wind, sure. He's got a lot of testosterone running around his body, and he is going to be fairly aggressive. But what is quite interesting is as the bulls get older, and I suppose it is just like human children going into adulthood, they're going through puberty and they have a lot to say, and you know they want to prove themselves, and that's pretty much like an elephant. You know, they want to prove themselves, so they throw the weight around a bit. So the younger bulls tend to be that little bit more aggressive, and they also trying to understand what's going on with their body. You know, they've got all these hormones running around and they're not sure how to control it. But as they get older, they obviously have been through this process a number of times, and the old bulls tend to be a lot more relaxed when they're in must. And we've seen it on a number of occasions here in the Sabi Sands. Some very relaxed bulls, big bulls, and clearly in must. And they don't even give you the time of day. So I think we'll swing by this hyena den quickly. Maybe just swing by Treehouse Dam. Something keeps telling me to go back to that dam, so I want to see if there's anything to it. And then if we've got time, see if we can make it over to Cheetah Cutline and check out that other hyena den. See if we've got enough time. Yeah, 45 minutes. Oh, that's a challenge. Jacobin cuckoo sitting on the tree. You just see that white patch underneath the wing. And that crest, you might just be able to make it out. Is it Jacobin? Oh, actually, it could be the Levolence. I thought I just saw some stripes on the chest. Yeah, there we go. It's actually the Levolence or striped cuckoo. They do look very similar. The Jacobin just doesn't have any stripes on its chest. Very cool. Another cuckoo. Cross off the list. The cuckoos are coming out to play today. Had the Deirdre's cuckoo this morning. Still checking these trees here, just in case. Check out the hyena den again. I say earlier on, I think it was just like a little bit too hot. As if they are still here, but there was an elephant track very close to the den, so if the elephants came through here, they might have chased the hyenas off. Let's see. Good afternoon, I heard you were trying to contact me. Negative, I think I've just got this channel. Copy that, yeah, I'll pass it on for you. copy that. I'll let them know. Thank you. It looks like there's still no movement. But as I say, it could be because I'm not seeing any adults close by. So it could be that baby is actually tucked away inside the den just for safety. So unless the adults are out, especially with it being so small, it is very, very vulnerable at that age. Because remember, it's only about this big. It's very small. And it's just the most precious thing, really. Okay, so we'll leave the den for now. I'm sure we will keep trying it.
Hello everyone. Being out in the bush and being out there live has its technical challenges. We're experiencing some of that now and are working on it as fast as possible to get it sorted and get you back in the vehicle with us. Hello everyone. Being out in the bush and being out there live has its technical challenges. We're experiencing some of that now and are working on it as fast as possible to get it sorted and get you back in the vehicle with us.
Welcome back everybody, and look what we have for you. Absolutely fantastic. So while we were off air, I'm not sure what was happening, but apologies for that. So we got the call just as we were leaving the hyena den, and I was going to head down towards Treehouse Dam. Ah, that was it. Thanks, Pete. It was a power outage in the area, so
being out in the bush, being out there
we
live
lost
has its technical challenges.
all power and final control. So Pete was trying like mad to try and get everything back online. So thanks a lot, Pete. And during that time, we were able to come down and get to where the leopard was. Now we haven't been able to get a great view of him. I was told by the guide who saw him, it's Kunyuma. But what he was able to pass on as well was that Kunyuma's actually made a kill, and it's a water monitor.
Hello everyone. Being out in the bush and being out there live has its technical challenges. We're
Stations have got visual of the one on the way
working on it as
south
fast as
of
possible to get it sorted
Twin Dams.
and get you back in the vehicle with us.
South of Twin Dams, just one station lock, or one station lock. So I'm hoping he'll lift his head up so we'll be able to get a positive ID. Check it is Kunyuma. So we're on the southern side of Twin Dams at the moment.
Hello
And
everyone.
if you are joining
being out
us,
in the bush and being out there live has its technical challenges. We're experiencing
hopefully you're
some of
having a
that
nice
now,
cup
and
of
we're
tea
working on it as
with your
fast as
morning
possible to
breakfast.
get it
Oh, there we
sorted
go.
and
Beautiful.
get back to the vehicle with us.
And how's that? Wherever you are in the world, whatever you are doing, welcome on board. And enjoy the view of an African leopard live from South Africa in Kunyuma Game Reserve in the Sabi Sands. And I'm so excited to meet him.
Hello everyone. Being out in the bush and being out there live has its technical challenges. We're experiencing some of that now and are working on it as fast as possible to get it sorted and get you back in the vehicle with us.
Okay, I'm just going to pull forward a little bit just so we don't have that branch in the way. You might just get another view of him. I believe this little man, this Kunyuma, is not a great lover of vehicles. So we're actually on the other side of the little pan where he must have caught the water monitor. And we're going to give him his space. We don't want to crowd him too much. But hopefully, if we give him his space and he realises, you know, we're not too bad, we're not causing a threat to him or a problem to him, he might actually relax around the vehicles. And apparently he is getting better. So, Kunyuma is one of the cubs. For some of you, I was talking about Karula earlier. This was one of the cubs of her fourth litter, brother to the quarantine male. And I've yet to actually be able to ID them because they are new to me, so it's going to take me a few days to get used to their spot pattern, but I have been studying from the pictures from Rosie and Ellen, so thank you very much ladies for sending those in. And what I did notice is, I think it was the quarantine male, seemed to have the triangles underneath his eyes, a bit like Induna had, but the other way around, upside down. So if anyone was able to get a screenshot as he stood up, let's see if we can get a positive ID on him. But I seem to remember everybody saying that Kunyuma has almost like eyeliner going straight from his eye, and he almost has this beautiful slanted look from his eyes. Let's see how well camouflaged they are and why it's so difficult to find them, but when you do, oh, it's just so special. I'd love to take credit for finding him, but we actually did get the call through to say somebody else had found him. Yeah, spot the leopard now, hey? Check those white spots on the back of the ears. He's very alert for something. Now, when a cat wants to tell another cat that it's not happy, and I'm sure you're aware of this if you have a cat back home, they'll flatten those ears. And if they're okay, if they're quite happy, the ears will go straight. So where the white is will also, it will stand out. So it just makes that body language just that little bit clearer. And the white tip on the tip of the tail of the leopard as well can also act as a follow me sign if it comes to follow the mother. Can act as a white flag if other animals have spotted the leopard and the leopard has lost its element of surprise. Quite often they'll walk out with the tail held high and, oh, okay, you got me. And it's their submission. I'm just wondering if we move further around here and try and look back, I wonder if we're going to get a nice view of him from there. As I say, I'm not wanting to go on the opposite side because we'll scare him off coming down from the other side. It's very thick that side, and as I say, he's not a great lover of vehicles. But I just want to see if we can maybe just pull a bit further around and just have another angle. We might just see him a little bit clearer. So if you can keep an eye on him, Andrew, see if you can just watch what his behaviour there actually. Yeah. A slightly better view for you, and obviously we dropped signal a little bit. We're sitting currently on
Hello everyone.
So welcome back again. So as I was saying, the leopard's gone to be a flat cat. Where he's flat. See if they want to come to the sighting. But yeah, as I say, he actually just went very, very flat. I'm not sure if you were able to see that just before before we lost you. So I'm going to just stay here and just chill out with the buffalo, and maybe he'll just wake up and walk this way a little bit. But as I say, I don't want to go from the other side because I think we'll almost certainly chase him off. which is not what we're about. We want to view the wildlife without and that's exactly how we want to leave him. But it was fantastic to catch up with him. And as I say, hopefully you guys got some nice screenshots of him. We can get that positive ID. But these boys are enjoying the cooling temperature still. It's still very humid and very warm out here this afternoon in South Africa. But the clouds are building, so I wonder if we are going to get another storm. Quite interesting, there seems to be quite a young buffalo. Just moving that old buffalo out the way there. You can see to the other two boys that's flanking it either side. Maybe he's just left the main herd recently. You can see these old bulls, much older, almost walking a little bit stiffly. I'm getting very irritated by the flies by the looks of it. Ah! Oh, he was in the way. Some of you might remember I was talking about, oh there we go, when rhinos roll in the mud and they go right over like a little dog, and I've never seen the buffalo do it, and he was just doing it, that buffalo at the back. There he goes. There we go. Got stand corrected. Making sure he's nice and covered. Wanton puppy. Now these are African buffalo, they're not water buffalo. A lot of people do make that mistake. The water buffalo are found in Asia. And the African cousins are much larger, and the boss is quite a lot heavier. Oh, and I can hear the butcher's cuckoo calling. And they're very good at predicting when rain is on its way. And drive is coming to an end. Oh, and we're being charged. What's your plan, mister? But it just goes to show how much the heat can affect the animals. But it's wonderful to have shared this drive with you, and as I say, to have Kunyuma, someone's going to have to help me with that name again, one of the offspring of Karula, having a water monitor just over the other side of this wall here, eating that, knowing that he's actually hunting for himself is fantastic news. And obviously he's coming up for 2 years old. I'm not sure what this boy's up to, but thank you very much for joining us, from myself and from Andrew on camera and Pete back in Final Control. It's been wonderful having you on board. Thank you for all your questions.